Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at just kind of the raw number look at some of these monsters. We're going to be doing the Qurupeco first. Essentially this is just kind of a more informative look, and hopefully it'll help and, show some people a little bit more information that they may not have known about at first. So first thing we're going to be looking at is just the raw damage for the cutting and impact. Basically, with both things, you're going to be aiming for the body. If you have a cutting weapon, I recommend it over an impact weapon, just because there's a lot more areas which you can do more damage. It really is more vulnerable to cutting, but it's not that big of a deal if you're using an impact weapon against it. Either way, it's really not that hard of a monster. Anyways, moving on. We have the item effect. Pretty much every item can affect this, except for the meat. For some reason it doesn't eat meat. So you can't poison it or stun it using that, but other than that, it is vulnerable to every other type of item that you can really think of. Yeah, no, not much to say. It's a really vulnerable monster. It can be affected by everything, and for very long durations too, especially with the pitfall and shock traps. It just completely goes out of commission if hit by those. Moving on, we have the status effect, and again it just goes to show how vulnerable this thing is to just about everything under the sun. 150 across the board except for 130 for stun, which I suppose if you're using an impact weapon there's a little bonus for you in the stun. It's not going to last long, it's going to go down, it's going to be confused, and I don't think you're really going to be using a poison weapon or anything like that this early in the game, so this probably really doesn't mean much if it's your first time going against it. But again, it just goes to show how vulnerable this monster is. And lastly, we have the elemental chart, and this just goes to show where its weaknesses are. And I was actually wrong when I said it was weak to electric. There are much better weaknesses, as you can see on this chart. Again, more damage to the head, which obviously makes sense since it's its weak point. But just try to hit in the head as much as you can, and it's not particularly strong against anything except for dragon. Don't use dragon against this. But again, when you're fighting this, you really shouldn't have any dragon weapons anyways. Well, I suppose that's about all I have for you guys. Hope this has been a little bit more informative than my usual videos, because those are just kind of for fun, and they're just meant to entertain. They're not really meant to be super informative. It's just for fun. Oh, and lastly, I didn't make these images and charts. These guys get the credit, so go check them out and support them.